Today, I'll be talking about a topic that is essential for anyone looking to improve their finance, which is how you can create an easy-to-use budget that can help you to save thousands of dollars. So in this video, you'll find a step-by-step guide on how to create a simple budget, but more importantly, on how to stick with it. The first step in the creation of the perfect budget is to understand what are your different income and expense. This might look quite easy, but in fact, it is the most important part of the process. So obviously, this involves tracking your different income and expense over a certain period of time. If I were you, the first thing that I would do would be to start by noting all your different income sources on a spreadsheet. For example, for me personally, I could say that I have my main job income, after I have my second job income, and finally, I would have my side hustle income. To find these numbers, it can be pretty easy. You just have to go in your bank account and check all the inflow of cash that have come over the last month. And obviously, you can also include all the different investments that will be paying you some monthly income. It can be some great dividend stocks, some staking of crypto, or even some rental income. After, you'll simply have to do the same thing but for the expenses. So you just have to think about all the different expenses that you have on a daily basis. It will obviously include different common expenses such as your rent, grocery shopping, going to restaurants, all your different bills, so your telephone bills and your Wi-Fi bill, but also all the insurance that you'll pay and your car and gas payment. Once again, to have more precision, just go in your bank account and check out at your credit card statement on a monthly basis. And after, simply take a note of all the different expenses that you have in this column. And a great tip that I could give you is to add another expenses section where you'll be putting different other expenses that you haven't talked about. For example, if you decide to add a certain part of your budget for going out with some friends or even just to go shop. And so it is crucial for you to categorize your income and your expense to have a clearer and a better picture of your overall spending habits. As you can see in this example, I've created a simple spreadsheet where I can track my different income and expense, where you can find all my different income sources on the left, and on the right you can find all my different expenses. Once you'll be done to track your different income and expense over a certain period of time, the next step will be to create a monthly budget. So with all the data that you've just collected, it will be a great way for you to find areas where you are currently overspending so you can make some cut on these areas. But the main difference between this step and the first step is that you are making some projection with this monthly budget. In fact, nobody currently owns a time machine to see what will happen in the future. So personally, I would recommend you to use the data that you've just found to make your analysis for your monthly budget. For example, after making the analysis, if you find that your income sources are way smaller compared to your total expenses, well, you have two options. Either you decide to increase your total revenue, so by finding a new job or even to create your own business, or you can simply cut on all the different unexpected expenses and on the places where you spend the most. Personally, if I had to cut on the different expenses, I would mainly focus on two different fields, which are the entertainment and the food. The first is quite obvious if you are currently subscribed to many different broadcast services such as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV. Well, you could simply decide to cut on many of these services and opt for only one of them. The same applies if you have the tendency to go to the Starbucks every single morning to buy a giant coffee. Well, in that case, you could simply cut the numbers of time that you'll go to Starbucks to 1 or 2 times per week, and for the rest, you'll be making your coffee at home. And the same applies if you go to different restaurants or fast food, where on average, if you decide to pay for a meal of about $13, if you were doing the exact same meal but at your home, it would only cost you about $4. And so the cost of eating out is on average 325% more if you decide to go eat at the restaurant. And so a great alternative for you could be to learn how to cook some great and some healthy recipe at home. Simply by spotting all the different places where you are spending the most can help you to save thousands of dollars per year. In my example, I've simply recreated a budget on a spreadsheet where on the top you can find all my different income sources, and at the bottom you can find all my different expenses on different categories. It is important for you to be realistic when you are creating your budget, to not overestimate overestimate your income and to underestimate your expenses, because after you'll simply have to deduct your different income with your total expenses to find if you are currently over or underspending. So this process will simply give you what is your current financial situation. But in fact, create a budget is one thing, but to stick to it is another one. The key to stick to your budget is actually to track your total spendings. This involves monitoring all your spendings throughout the month to make sure that you are staying within your budget. To succeed in this task, you could obviously decide to write down all your expenses one by one, but it will actually take you a lot of time. And so another option that I would personally recommend you is to use different mobile apps to help you out with this task. By making some research on the internet, I've found that the Mint app looks quite interesting. This application is free to use and it will allow you to link your bank account to it, and it will give you some great features where you can notably follow what is the evolution of your credit score and where you can also track your total credit spending, and you have also the possibility to have what is the evolution of your total home mortgage. So on your side, throughout the month, it will be crucial for you to input all your total expenses and income on a spreadsheet or even on another application. And this will simply help you to track the different areas of your budget where you might be overspending. But now that you've been able to find what are your total expenses and your income, and that you've been able to create a solid budget that you'll be tracking every single month, it is important for you to understand that your budget isn't set in stone. Indeed, as your financial situation will be changing in the future, you need to make some readjustments to it. Indeed, if you just received a pay rise, you might want to increase your total spendings or even to increase your total savings. But keep in mind that it can also be the other way around, where you can have unexpected events that will impact your life. For example, if you have a big car crash where you not only lose your car, but you can also lose your health. Simply be prepared for all eventualities where you might be forced to cut on different expenses. And finally, the last step, which is as important as the other ones on this list, is to celebrate all your little victories when you are sticking to your budget. Life isn't always about sticking to your diet or to your budget, but it is also to reward yourself when you're doing great things. If you've been able to reach your savings objectives before the end of the year, you might want to reward yourself to go out with your partner, for example, in a good restaurant, or even if you want to have some unexpected trips with the kids. After all, it is as important to prepare for the future as to enjoy life. And this will simply motivate you to continue to stick to your budget. So there you have it. Those are 5 great steps that you can follow if you're looking for the best way on how to create the perfect budget in 2023, especially if you're looking to increase your total savings. But now you might still be wondering, hey, but Louis, now that I've saved a lot of money, where can I invest it? Well, a great way to invest your money, especially when you are starting in your financial journey, is to invest throughout different exchange trade funds, also known as ETFs. So to find what are the best ETFs that you can buy right now, check out the video that's going to be right over here, and I will see you soon. Peace.